Hello, is that you?
There, I think I got it.
Mr. Jacobs.
Mr. Jacobs, you're on stage, Mr. Jacobs. Check.
Check one, two, sibilance.
Is that what you say, sibilance?
Yep.
Last night, as of when this recording is not taking place, not as in last night, as in when you're listening to this.
Right.
But last night I went to see Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits.
All right.
And we go to see Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits probably 2 or 3 times every winter down here in Florida.
Right.
And because it's always a good show. It's basically always the same show. But the guy's 76 and he's incredibly talented. And Herman's Hermits had a lot of hit songs.
They did have a lot of hit songs, yes.
And he does some other stuff. And he's just a really, really talented guy. But last night it was in a place called Claremont, Florida, which I'm really glad I don't have a house there because it's like 6-lane roads everywhere and really busy.
Hey.
Oof.
And it was a converted church, but not an old church. It was a modern, Christianity, that one of those churches. It's a modern church.
Right.
Which was converted into the Claremont Performing Arts Center. And halfway through the show, I thought to myself, it's a great show. I'm enjoying myself. I'm glad I came, but I don't think old churches are necessarily ideally suited to musical concerts. It's just a thought I had, anyways. Because
it depends on the type of music. I mean, some old churches have phenomenal acoustics, right? So some of them, maybe really good, but I think it depends on the church, and I think it depends on the type of music.
Yeah, and it's not an old church like as in built in 1932. It's an old church built in 1992.
Right.
So it's very modern and hip, and the acoustics weren't very good. So anyways. All right, Kelly once again is late. He's not coming. He's sleeping or something. Well. This is becoming a regular thing with him.
It is. It's like he's not pulling his weight.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what's happening there.
And we made a mini print of him and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I know what we got to talk about. This is a free show. So first off, speaking of mini prints, Bruce, would you put a mini print beside your Rapido trains?
Your Fast Track to Model Railroad New Fun? Absolutely, I would.
Okay. And secondly,
did you notice I kept my mouth shut there?
Yeah, that's good because
I had to go. No, I'm thinking of Rapido Trains makes gondolas. You can get all the mini prints you want and load them in the gondolas like they're on a fan trip.
There you go. That's right. Queso, there's no doubt you are it's what? It's like the NHL. It's like you're a goalie tandem team. You're a solid, you're going to play 30 games a year, but you're not the number one guy. Your save percentage is down a bit this year, so you're always number 2.
It was that nagging groin injury.
Yeah, it was the nagging groin. And the other thing we got to do, because this is on the free channel, this is Springfield Show Report Part 3. Because this is on the free channel, we have to start promoting Tomstock.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
So let's have a little chatter about Tomstock, because we want everybody to realize that it's a happening thing. Yep. And it's all systems go, and we've rented the RDC again.
Yep.
Do you rent an RDC or do you contract an RDC?
You charter it.
You charter an RDC. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the chartering has been done.
Yep, we have chartered the RDC, which will let's take it from the top. Tomstock 2024, the Queso Cowboys birthday roundup, kicks off Wednesday evening, July 24th, with our all-you-can-eat buffet dinner at the Shady Maple Smorgasbord. The next day, Thursday, July 25th, is the RDC trip from Reading to Jim Thorpe. We will leave the outer station at Reading around between 9 and 9:30. And we will head up to Jim Thorpe. We'll spend a few hours in Jim Thorpe. We will stop at Port Clinton, the headquarters of the Reading and Northern, for a little while before arriving in Jim Thorpe.
Is that where the steam locals are?
Correct. Yep. That's where the steam shop is. We will be getting another visit in the steam shop.
Beautiful.
Cool.
And then we'll head to Jim Thorpe. We'll lay over in Jim Thorpe for a couple hours, and we'll return to Reading in the early evening. And then Friday,
were we supposed to go through a tunnel or something?
Yeah, we're gonna. We will go through the Tamaqua Tunnel as part of the normal route. I'm also trying to make arrangements for us to go through the Mahanoy Tunnel, which is the big tunnel that's nearly, it's about 3,400 feet long. So
wow.
it's more than half a mile. Trying to make arrangements to go through that, back through, and then head to Jim Thorpe.
That'd be cool.
They're working on that, but it's TBD at this point.
Cool.
So that's the Bud Car trip, and then Friday, the 26th will be our bus tour. We will be going to Jerry Britton's layout in Edders, Pennsylvania, which is near York. We will also be stopping at White Rose Hobbies, which is proprieted by a friend of the show, Ryan Toman, who is also the owner of Bethlehem Car Works now.
Oh, cool.
We'll be stopping there to visit the hobby shop and hopefully spend some money. And we'll be going to Jerry's, and then we'll be heading back east, and we'll finish our day at the Lehigh and Keystone Valley Model Railroad Museum in Bethlehem.
Cool.
And a Dairy Queen. There's a Dairy Queen in there somewhere.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah. Now, Tom, an important question I have to ask because of past incidents with buses. Is there somebody specifically hired to make sure Lionel's awake at lunchtime?
Well, I'm actually working on finding a new bus company, because unfortunately, the bus company that we had last time, I had specifically requested Patrick again, because he would know that he's got to keep Lionel awake and pick him up right outside the Dairy Queen and all of that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that bus company is booked up for Friday.
Oh.
So I'm in the process of finding an alternate carrier.
Can we steal Patrick anyhow?
I don't know that they would.
We got a bus. We just need a driver.
Right. We just need you to drive it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But we'll get another bus, and it'll be just fine.
I just had a great idea. Don't blow me off. Think it through. It's an idea. It's we're running it up the flagpole. What about this? We take Scooter's bus and we gut it, and we just put in regular bus seats, and then give it back to him.
You think will it hold like 50 people?
Oh, it's a full size Prevost bus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would it hold 50 people if we didn't?
With newly replaced taillight too.
Yeah, newly replaced taillight. No. I think at max you're looking at 10 people.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, then it's got to be done.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Kelly wants to get in the studio again. This time
is the second time in a row he's been.
Yeah, this time we're 8 minutes and 45 seconds into the show, and should we let him in? Or should we make?
Do we have a choice?
We do. We could finish the introduction to the Springfield Report number 3.
Let's finish the intro and then let him in. It's kind of like the story you related the other night when you're at the Leafs game. You have to wait 13 minutes to get down to your seat because you're late getting there.
Well, can I finish?
Oh, you can finish
about Tom Stock?
Well, yeah. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to forget my idea about gutting Scooter's bus.
I think it would be great. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So you got to get a bus, but that's well underway.
Yep. So that's Friday. And then Saturday is the Tom Stock picnic at here at the Jacobs Estate at the barn. We will have the layout open. We will have, food, fun. We'll have our raffle again. We are in the process. We already have a handful of door prizes. I'm working on getting more.
Did you get a bifold door this year?
No. I just got a hollow core. People you can build an N scale layout on a hollow door.
That's true.
So
that's true.
That was my thought. But we'll have the raffle. We will also have And I feel like I'm doing the group kind of a big favor here by delaying this until Tom Stock. We will have the Golden Spike ceremony for the Reading division.
Oh, very cool.
That's going to be fun.
Yep. I mean, I could have it now because all the track is laid, but I thought it would be appropriate since Mick Shea will be there, and he was kind enough to give me the Golden Spike.
Yes.
That I figured we'll do it there, and we'll do it that day. And
whereabouts are you going to put it in?
That I haven't quite decided yet.
Yeah.
I need to figure out exactly where it would make the most sense. I have a couple ideas, but I need to think it through.
And then you'll need a little memorial or something next to it, or plaque next to it.
I don't think
Spike is driven.
I don't think he's going to kill a guy. I don't think he needs a memorial. A plaque, maybe.
Right.
A plaque,
yeah.
I'll stage a photo like they did at Promontory, right, with the locomotives coming from either direction.
There you go. That's right.
A bunch of that's how I'll use my my mini prints. I'll have everybody standing around, or sitting in your case, Bruce.
Yes.
Well, you put me right between. You can put me right between the rails, so
right,
close and personal.
with your milk crate in the gauge.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? One of the locomotives, I think what would be a great idea if one of the locomotives was manufactured by Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Okay.
I actually have.
There you go.
I actually have a Rapido SW1200. It would need to be painted and put together, but maybe I can manage that.
Or not. Just stick it out there, anyways. But the main thing is we got the plug-in.
Yep.
Yes.
So no, so we're Tom Stock is going to be great again. There's information is starting to be posted on the Tom Stock 24 page on Facebook. So if you just search Tom Stock 2024, you can find the page, and there and on the fan page is where we are posting updates as they occur.
And I would suggest people who are listening to this now contact the hotel sooner rather than later, because I think rooms are going fairly quickly from the chatter
really?
I get.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
I guess I should contact them too, shouldn't I?
Oh, that's another thing. We do have a special room rate at the Hampton Inn in Wyomissing, which is the official hotel of Tom Stock. So if you go on the Tom Stock page, you'll get the information around where to call and how to book. The other thing that we're going to do Saturday night, they've given us the use of the big conference room, meeting room, whatever you want to call it. And Brad Williamson and some of those guys are going to set up their T-Track modules.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yep. That's so Tracy Boyd, if you're out there.
Yeah. The Iron City N Scalers.
Yep. So Tracy Boyd, if you're out there, I know you're working on a T-Track module. I expect you to bring it and set it up with those guys.
Yeah, that would be cool. There you go. That would be cool. And anybody else that has a T-Track module, I'm sure those guys would be more than welcome to have you join in. I have one point I want to make. Kelly wants to get back in again. He left. You know what? Let's let him in now because he left in a huff.
Did he? The 2024 huff, or is it the old model?
Where have you been?
We were having dinner and the clocks hadn't been turned back.
Nailed it.
I win. All right. Pay up, guys.
You mean you were all day with the clocks at the wrong time?
No, in the house. I
where else? Where else would they be?
I went over to the club and it was normal. And I said, wait a minute, it's not that time. I looked at my phone and I realized, oh, that's right. Everything goes backwards or goes forward 1 hour.
And how long ago was that?
That was like, given the time frame I'm in, probably an hour. So it was 3 hours ago.
And in that time, you couldn't remember you had people rely on you.
I know, but I was sitting there having dinner with Yanti, and I looked up at the kitchen clock, and it said 4:00. I said, "Oh, I got plenty of time." And we finished dinner, and it was 5:00, and I said, "Oh God, I got to get ready for the show." And I get on, and I turn my computer on, and it goes 6:15. I go, "Oh man!"
Can I make a comment here?
Sure, go ahead.
You do have a smartphone, right, Kelly?
Yeah, but I didn't have.
Most smartphones will automatically update to the correct time.
Yeah, the smartphone.
And most of them have some sort of function on them that you can set a calendar reminder that will beep off 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever, before the event, so you are aware of the upcoming event.
Yeah,
is this something you have not heard of before? Or?
Oh yeah. It's back west. We're back in the old west.
Yeah. Kelly, you are a full-time job, buddy. You are a full-time job. Okay, so I have a comment about this year's Tom Stock that I hope you don't take the wrong way.
Okay.
I just have a feeling that I'm going to have more fun this time than I did last time.
Well, that's okay.
I feel like because I've done it all once, now I can kind of relax and take it in. Like I'm looking forward to the RDC ride because before the RDC ride was really cool, but it was like kind of the first time and everybody was having so much fun. It was kind of hard to take it all in. And now I feel like, holy mackerel, I'm going to enjoy everything just that much more. Right. And the other thing, other comment I wanted to, or question, suggestion, however you want to take it. Could we, or may we, or might we designate the Friday bus tour as the Jerry Britton tour?
Sure.
Because that's the highlight of the day. Although the Lehigh Valley thing is going to be cool. And White Rose Nurseries is going to be cool. But I just felt like it's the because last time we didn't go to Jerry Britton's.
Yep.
This is the Jerry Britton tour.
Yep.
And everybody.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Although we don't have a bus for it.
Right. Right. And now poor Jerry has to figure out how to fit 50 people in his basement at one time.
Exactly. 58, I think, if we get the proper highway bus.
Which is not his basement is not as large as Ken McCory's barn. No. We're gonna have to we're
gonna be tight.
We're gonna have to work those logistics out somehow. But I have been talking to Jerry and we have some ideas around how to going in groups or whatever.
Yeah, half the people could play lawn darts or something.
That's actually along the line. I have a set of the original 1970s lawn dart.
Good. Are we gonna flip a coin to see who receives?
Now I just need to talk to the legal department and get some good liability waivers drawn up. But so I've been talking to Jerry and we're gonna we'll figure it out because he's been going like gangbusters on his layout. He's been putting up fascia signs. He's been working on his CTC panel. So he's really working at it.
I would too if I had a designated tour coming to my house. I'd be like, it's the Jerry Britton scenic tour. It's the Jerry. We'll work on that name as we get closer and closer.
Yep.
Now, seeing as how I'm not editing this. I am not editing this introduction. But seeing as how because now we're already 18 minutes and 40 seconds in, I think we should at least talk about who's on the show. So this is these interviews are done exclusively by the Queso Cowboy. Let's see what I've already written. I think I've already written the little blurb for the. Let's see. Here's what I got so far. It's part 3 of the Springfield Interviews, and this time our very own Queso Cowboy takes to the floor to get the latest scoop on who's who in the hobby. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
It sounds
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah. So here's who's on the show. We got your White Rose Nurseries, White Rose Hobbies. Well, we have a White Rose Nurseries up here north of Toronto, or we used to.
This is true.
Did you say he's a fan of the show?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes, he's a fan of the show. And,
he had cheese balls on his table. He did.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Who can give the count of how many cheese balls are in the jug?
And I had a great idea. Good thing I'm not going to edit this because this is going on and on this introduction. I had a great idea. Last year, me and Scooter were trying to get Utz to send us a skid of cheese balls because you can send stuff to the show before and then they just accept it. And now we were trying to get a skid of cheese balls sent from Utz. But I had a great idea about 3 weeks ago, actually, when I was at the grand opening of the Daytona Beach Costco, which is right across the road from the Speedway, by the way.
Well, there you go.
It's the world center of speed.
It is.
We can order our cheese balls from Costco. They'll send us a skid of cheese balls without any hassle, I bet you. So that's
no muss, no fuss, just cheese balls on the bus.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, get your cheese balls on a bus. It's the Jerry Britton Cheese Ball Tour.
There you go.
It's getting better already.
Yep.
The cheese ball run, kind of like the cannonball run.
Yeah, there you go. It's
the Jerry Britton Cheese Ball Run.
Yeah.
There we go.
Or
that's a T-shirt.
Jerry Britton,
Yeah,
Jerry Britton's apostrophe S, Jerry Britton's Cheese Ball Run 2024.
There you go.
That's a T-shirt right there. Okay, so we got White Rose Hobbies, and then we got Ron Kleiss from Mind Mount Models, and then we have the interview from Walthers. And then we have the Valley HO Trak, which the only problem I'm finding, there's one thing I found wrong with these interviews, Queso, and I hope you don't take it the wrong way.
Okay.
They're like really, really good. And I'm thinking to myself, he's doing as good a job as I would have done. Or better.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, well, that means one of us can be replaced.
Next time I'll try to suck more, okay?
No, don't. They're really, really good. I love how when you were talking to Rudy Garbely from Garbely Publishing, he talked really, really fast. And I loved how you stayed with him trying to get the URL of his, because I could not understand what he was saying. Garbely Publishing, and I could not get it. And I was thinking, well, somehow I'm going to have to send you a message. Who's this guy? And then about 2/3 of the way through, you started saying, okay, I need the URL. And first he gave you, I don't know, the toy train URL. And then there was another URL. And you're like, no, what is the URL of Garbely Publishing? And then finally you made him spit it out. So you stuck with it.
Well, Rudy, he's the owner and the operator of Garbely Publishing and Garbely. I think it's Garbely, but then he also is involved with the Operation Toy Train, which is a partnership with the Toys R Us, or not Toys R Us, Toys for Tots.
Toys.
You can tell I have a grandbaby. But where they take a train around to different locations through the Northeast, and you'll hear it in the interview, but basically they take the train around and people come to where the train is, and they donate and they collect they collect toys for Toys for Tots for needy kids at Christmas, which is awesome. So,
and how are the Marines involved?
The Marine Corps sponsors Toys for Tots. They're kind of like the organization that actually runs it.
Oh, okay. Is somebody, Kelly, are you watching TV or something?
Nope.
All right. And then the final one is Matt Herman of 3D Central, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh man, what a great idea he's got. That thing's only going to take off.
It has taken off. He is going like gangbusters with all of the different designers that he's working with, and the products that he's got available. It's really moving at a good pace.
Hey Tom, I just had a great idea. I think I just had a great idea. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm interested in everybody's opinion. Mailboy, Kelly, Queso, I'm interested in everybody's opinion. I think this is a great idea. Matt, we should do a full-length interview with Matt Herman. Like
absolutely.
A long-form interview with Matt Herman.
Yeah.
That'd be a great interview. Queso, what do you think?
He certainly has been around the hobby for a very long time. I mean, he worked for Bowser originally, then he spent some time at Loke Sound, and now he and his brother have embarked on this 3D Central project, and that would be a great
interview.
He would definitely would be a lot of directions a conversation could go.
Yeah. And hey, Mailboy, I had a second idea.
Hello?
I have a second idea.
Ooh, okay.
What about if we got Queso to be the guy that interviewed him?
Ooh, there's a brilliant idea.
I love it.
The understudy steps in.
Yeah.
Playing the role of the evil overlord today is the Queso Cowboy.
Yeah, you can be mini me. That would be a great interview, actually, because Matt is a talker, and it's a great story.
He's got a lot of enthusiasm,
and all of his stuff, not just this newest thing, which he can talk about at length, but each individual manufacturer would be interesting for him to talk about, plus his history in the hobby and how he got there and everything. That'd be a great interview. We should work on that.
Yep. We can do that.
We could do that. See how easy it is, Queso?
Okay.
It works. That's as easy as it is. All you got to do is get the old gray matter working, and away you go.
Get the juices percolating, and off you go.
Okay, I think that's it. We've chewed up 27 minutes of our introduction.
Well, there you go.
And I was trying to keep this show a little shorter, so I think there's the interviews take up about an hour and 8 minutes, but now we've got another 27 minutes to add to it.
No, wait, just those three was an hour and 8 minutes?
No, Ron Kleiss, I said.
Oh, Ron. Oh, yeah. So it's
White Rose Nurseries. Yeah, White Rose Nurseries.
Nurseries.
Talking about shrubbery.
Walthers. I mentioned
shrubbery. Scenery. Yeah.
And I mentioned Walthers.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mentioned Garbely Publishing.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Valley. Maybe I didn't mention Valley HO Trak.
Oh yes,
you did mention.
Oh, okay, so there's 5 in there. Gotcha.
There's 6. Wrong. I'm going to do this one more time. Ron Kleiss, White Rose Hobbies, Walthers, Garbely Publishing, Valley HO Trak, Matt Herman. That's 6 different interviews.
Okay, got it.
Matt Herman is 13 minutes. Valley HO Trak is 11. Garbely Publishing is 11. Walthers is 16. White Rose Hobbies is 13. And Ron Kleiss is 6. I guess you were mad at Ron or something. Oh,
he was the first one. He was the warm up act.
Okay. Yeah, your sound and everything. You operated the little machine very well. Because I did one interview away from the booth, which was the wrap up, the part 2 of our scale trains interview. And I get the over under on 50 is with scale trains. He wanted to come on and talk about retail wars, and I said sure, come on, because he didn't agree with some of the things I said, and I said come on in and feel free to rebuff. And then I said, which I very rarely do, and I said, come on to the podcast. I'm going to ask you some tough questions, but I will give you the finished product before I release it on the air. So right now, I'm running about 80-20 that he's going to say we can release it the way it is. So we'll see. Why did I bring that up? There was a reason I brought that up.
Because you're talking about when you made
the only interview I did away from the booth was scale trains. And at about the 15-minute mark, I actually said to him on the air, I got to go. I can't stand here anymore because my legs are killing me. He says, well, I haven't told you about new products yet. I'm like, okay, we'll do it fast. All right, Kelly, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
Subway chimes, go.
I'm here with Ron Poitamani from Valley HO Trak, a modular group here who's exhibiting at the show this year. Ron, can you tell me a little bit about the layout and Valley HO Trak? Is this a club layout, or tell me a little bit about what we got going on here?
Well, this is a modular group, so the club owns the corners and the yard, and individual members build modules to club specs where track distances are, but they can create any scene that they want.
Okay. So there's no mandate or requirement that it has to follow a particular prototype or anything like that. It's just whatever they can come up with, as long as the connecting sections meet up and all of that.
Well, we go from 1920 to present day.
Okay.
So it's a nice transition, but let's see why that train stopped. But everyone can do their own scene, whether it's a winter scene or golf. There's a golf course over there.
Okay.
So there's all different types of things that you can find at our layout. One of the club members has a Glitzen tunnel.
Okay.
So that's also a nice
So
thing to
it's
see.
really totally up to the individual modeler, whatever they want to do.
Yep. Yep.
Now, so you said the club owns the corners.
Yep.
What about the equipment? Is there a combination of club-owned locomotives and cars, or is that all individual members bring their stuff to run, or how does that work?
For the most part, the club owns all the DCC equipment. We're DC and DCC.
Okay.
So we can switch from, we don't know who's coming to the shows, and a lot of guys have DC and DCC locomotives like myself, so it all depends on what we want to run. The club has one locomotive, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
So everything else that I'm seeing all around the layout is individual members bringing their stuff.
Yep.
So how do you, when you say you've got DCC and DC, is it one track is DC, the other one's DCC, or you can flip them either way?
Yeah, we can alternate. It all depends. If someone wants to run on the inside or the outside, they can switch from DC to DCC.
Okay.
So.
And how long has the group been doing this? How long have you been in existence?
We formed in 1987.
Okay.
In the basement of a church.
So 30 plus years you've been going.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, we're 100% NMRA club as well.
So everybody's an NMRA member.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
And I'm currently the president, and I've been president for, how long have I been president for now?
Doesn't matter, you're going to be president forever.
All right, so I guess it's a permanent thing,
Right.
but over 10 years.
Okay, so you've been the president for over 10 years. The club's been in existence for 30 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So how often do you exhibit throughout the year, and where do you exhibit?
Well, obviously we're in Springfield.
Right.
And we do all local shows. We do a Cheshire show when Cheshire show is around. We do Vernon now, which is a great show.
Vernon, Connecticut. I know the...
yes.
I know somebody that works for the town of Vernon.
So we got the
That's
Vernon
our buddy
show.
Dave Owens, by
That's
the way.
right. So we have the Vernon show. Dave, what other shows do we have?
We do the Ansonia show.
Okay,
Twice a year.
Ansonia show.
And
That's
we
at
do
Warsaw.
The brand new Vernon
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
And what other? Is that it?
That's it.
That's
But
all that's come back from COVID.
yeah, we had about 10 to 12 shows per year before COVID, and then they started going away.
Right. So that's almost once a month, let's say, you were doing it.
Yeah.
So how do you transport the modules from show to show? Do the individual members bring them, or?
Yes, and the club has their own trailer. So
Okay.
all the club-owned equipment goes in the trailer. And we have upgraded the trailer in recent years because the club has grown. And so we needed more room for bigger modules and other club equipment.
And the nice thing about a modular layout is you can scale it up or scale it down to fit the available space.
Yep.
So how big are you actually at this show?
We are... Hey, Jeff, what's the size of the layout? What's the size here?
36 by 24.
36 by 24. Okay.
Yeah.
So it would not quite fit in my barn at home, but that's a great size. So, Ron, we're standing here in front of a very detailed module here with a lot of switches and a lot of track. What can you tell me about this?
This module is built by one of our members named Patrick Godert, and fortunately Patrick passed away in 2021.
Okay.
But he was a key member of our club. His modeling skills are something that I've never seen before. And this module, he gave this module to my son. And then after he passed, it went to the club where he was living. What was the name of that place?
Sure. We're Packer.
Okay. It was an assisted living facility, and they had their own model railroad club.
So this was part of the railroad
Right.
at the facility he was in, and then he passed away, and it came back to the club then, or?
No, it went to the assisted living facility. They had their own model railroad club.
Okay.
So it went to there. One of their members had it.
Okay. So how did it end up here?
So I got word about a month ago that, actually at the Vernon show, I got word that this module might be available again. So obviously I was interested in trying to get it back. And after many conversations, I was able, with the help of a couple club members, we got the module back. Unfortunately, when I picked it up, it was in pretty bad shape. The building over here, it was broken in 3 places. The only thing holding it from falling off was the wires holding it.
Oh, wow.
The original chimney was lost, and the original chimney was a plastic brick, and it had a blinking light. So I scratch built a quick chimney or a smokestack, and I just changed it up a little bit, but I put the blinking light in as well.
Right. So you've done a fair amount of rehab getting this back into exhibitable shape, and it's clearly a very complicated module. It looks very much like a switching puzzle. It's got its own control panel here behind the barrier to actually operate. So looks like you could have somebody here switching and shifting cars around while the trains are running back and forth on the main line.
And the module has its own staging yard as well.
Oh, okay.
So it sneaks right behind the other modules.
Right, so you can bring a train out. And
one thing is this water tower here. That's 100% scratch built.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it was in a million pieces when I got it. It was broken off. So I had to rebuild it and add more lumber to it. And I originally thought it was a fine scale, but it turned out it was scratch built.
Wow.
So I was able to salvage it and get it back on. The little tool shed on the right probably took the worst hit. It was right, where it's mounted is kind of vulnerable there. Mm-hmm. But 3 out of the walls were split. The back wall is in 3 pieces.
Oh, my word. Wow. So, clearly you've done a lot, put a lot of time and effort into bringing this back into good shape, which is nice. It's certainly a great tribute to a former member and a friend, and way to keep his memory and his passion for the hobby alive.
Yep.
So Ron, if somebody wanted to learn more about Valley HO Trak, or if they're in the area and they would want to see, where maybe you're exhibiting in the future, where can they go?
Well, they can go to our website.
Okay, and what is that website?
What? ValleyHOTrak.com?
Yeah, track with T-R-A-K.
Yeah, T-R-A-K.
ValleyHOTrak.com. And you have a Facebook page too?
We're on Facebook as well.
Okay.
Yep.
So.
And we normally, when we're going to shows, Dave is going to post it that here. This is where we're going to be.
Okay. All right. So there's a website as well as Facebook. If you're in the area, certainly, definitely worth coming by and taking a look.
And we're looking for members.
Membership is open.
Membership is open.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Great job. And the layout here is really something to see. And again, for those of you listening, take a look at the website or their Facebook page, and certainly worth checking out. So, Ron, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Well, I'm here at the Amherst Hobby Show, Springfield, as it's commonly known, and I'm here with Ron Kleiss, proprietor of Mind Mount Models. Rhymes with nice.
Sounds like nice. Yes, that's correct.
Ron, what's new at Mind Mount Models these days?
Well, I have my first limited run kit, Crown Transfer. It's part of a series of Echo Point Harbor series that's coming out. I have new 3D detail parts coming out. They're all for sale. And things are going great. I mean, this show is just amazing. The parking lot is swamped. The aisles are crowded. It's great.
It definitely does seem busier than last year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And yet last year, Saturday was pretty crazy.
Right. Did it snow last year? Or no, that was the year before.
No, that was the year before. That was a very intimate show.
Yes.
All like 800 of us.
Right. Plenty of room to walk around that time compared to now.
But people were still spending, so that was good.
And that's really what it's all about. So tell me a little bit about Crown Transfer. I'm looking at it here, and it's just amazing. I mean, the level of detail and the weathering is just, I mean, it's amazing. It's phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
Tell me what inspired you to come up with doing a kit, of this scope, and particularly of a waterfront scene.
I've been wanting to put out a limited run kit, and since it was our 5-year anniversary back in October, I figured 5 years is a good time to put out our first limited run kit. So I wanted to be, a big grandiose model, and I think I pulled that one off pretty good. It's, like I said, it's the beginning of the series, and originally I was designing it. If you look at our website at Crown Transfer, you see the main building I had 6 other buildings designed. They're all ready to go. I just have to build the new dioramas. And my wife's like, "You're never going to get that done. You're nuts. You need to like scale it down." And I was like, "Oh, how about if I just do the main building and the big, mill building, the transfer warehouse?" And I was like, "All right, let me scale it back down. I'll make that the limited run kit, and all the other buildings over the next few months, I'm going to be releasing those." The inspiration for it was originally the main structure was based on a mill building. I forget where it is, somewhere in Connecticut or Rhode Island or somewhere. And I kind of tweaked it. And what really caught my eye was the tower, the elevator tower that has a crown on top. And I was trying to come up with a name. I was trying to come up with people's names on it, friends' names, families, or whatever. And I was like, well, that kind of looks like a crown on top. I was like, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll just call it Crown Transfer. The guy's name was like Stephen Crown or...
Right. Yes,
So-
old Mr. Crown, the wealthy businessman who owned
Yes.
the harbor town and everything in it. And so, how many? You said this is a limited run kit.
Yep.
How many kits are you producing?
150.
150.
Yep.
And if I can ask, how many are left?
We're about halfway through.
You're about halfway through the run. So
And we already sold quite a couple of them, few of them this morning. And it's only Saturday morning, so that's good.
great.
Yep.
And it's I see it's $275, and for that you get a lot of the 3D printed details. You get all the actual parts to
Complete the
build the
buildings.
model?
Yep. The building, if you look on our website, you see it as one structure. But you have the main structure that you can have by itself. And you got the brick structure. You got the little Flynn's boat repair that's like the shake shingles building. You have the little annex building. They can actually be all apart and they can come up with 4 separate buildings if
So
you wanted to.
you can kind of configure the scene
Slightly different than
however
what you see.
want,
Exactly.
or however it's going to match your layout footprint. Or,
Yep,
or
you get all
what
the
have
you get all the docking, you get the piers, you get the bulkheads, you even
Wow.
get the seagulls.
Even get the seagulls, huh? Well, this is fantastic.
I appreciate
so,
it.
clearly, this has been taking a lot of your time and energy. And I heard you mention you've got several other kits in this series are going to be moving into production pretty soon. But what else is going on? I see a lot more 3D printed stuff than I think I did last year. So tell me about what you're doing with the 3D printed details.
Yeah, the 3D printed it's nice because it rounds out the lines. A lot of people, they'll have the structure and they kind of want to add more details on there. So I'm like, I got the first 3D printed. I started with my HO and then I started expanding because I realized, well, I designed the file for HO, but all I have to do is shrink it and make it bigger. So I started getting into the S scale and the O scale, and I am gradually getting into some of the structures. My next one will probably be either, we got Tracy Boyd, the official flight attendant. She's taking our picture.
Right.
I started expanding into the structures. The next building, it's either going to be Utopia Cafe or Tom's Top Dogs for S scale.
In S?
S and O, yeah.
S and O.
A lot of people like the S scale guys have been asking for Tom's because S is big in the die-cast cars. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that's perfect
So
for
that would
displaying their cars around.
That
yeah.
would be a great anchor for like a drive-in scene.
Yeah, exactly.
American Graffiti, that whole
So
type era.
I'm leaning towards Tom Talk Dogs. If that's okay, I can.
That's absolutely
All
fine
right.
as long as
I got to
as
get
long
your
as you-
permission.
as long as you can get ketchup on a hot dog there.
All right. So for S scale, I'll put the ketchup on the hot dog.
All right. Well, Ron, this is great. It's been really exciting to watch your progress and your business grow over the past 5 years from skips, bait, and tackle all the way up to everything you've got going on. So really have enjoyed that, and we wish you nothing but success, and thanks for spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom.
All right.
Enjoy the show.
Thanks. All right, I'm here with Rudy Garbely from Garbely Publishing and also Operation Toy Train. Rudy, thanks for taking some time to talk with us here at Modeler's Life. Tell me a little bit about Garbely Publishing.
Yeah, so Garbely Publishing is my publishing company. I started it in 2012, really to publish my own books that I was writing at the time, and quickly got approached by some other authors that wanted to do smaller run publications, things that were a little more niche in the hobby. And that grew. It was a part-time gig and kind of my side gig when I started it, and now it's my full-time gig. I've been doing it full-time for about 5 or 6 years.
So give me an example of some of the things that you've published over the years.
We've done things, everything from photo books. We have a series of photo books we're working on right now on the Susquehanna Railroad, to in-depth dives into Conrail cabooses. We've done a pretty definitive work on the Delaware and Hudson's history. And really everything in between. Plus, we've done some other partnerships with nonprofits to do books for them as well.
Okay, I think I remember you did the Conrail Rainbow Years series.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading those and looking at all the photos there. So is a lot of this stuff that you research yourself, or it's the other people doing the research and you kind of do the layout and things like that, or how does a book actually come from concept to a finished printed product?
So it really depends on the project, and I've been as involved as needed to be with other authors. I've written, I think it's 12 or 13 books myself now.
Oh, okay.
But we've published about 45 or 50 total in the past decade.
Wow.
So working with other authors, really it can be any mix of they hand me an almost completed product, and I just do the layout work on it, or I do some graphic work or whatever. Or it can be that in some cases I was handed a paper manuscript once, and I helped find the photos, I helped do all the editing, I even rearranged some chapters, to make it a finished product. So, I can work with basically whatever an author wants to do in terms of what they want to do, as long as it's a viable product and something people are interested in enough to buy it, then I can work with whatever somebody gives me.
Right. And about roughly, I'm assuming then that the time from idea to finished product will vary depending on kind of what you're given, right? Obviously, if you're just given a manuscript, it's going to take longer, but...
my current record for somebody giving me material to getting a book out the door is 5 weeks.
Wow.
So from submission of material, doing the layout, and having a book printed and having it in my hands is 5 weeks. I just did, and it depends too, because I just did a cookbook that I reproduced. Reproducing stuff is super easy because I just got to scan it, clean it up a little bit, and throw it together.
A cookbook?
Yeah. So we did a Union Pacific dining car cookbook from 1955 that we reproduced an original cookbook from the dining cars, from the UP's dining car department.
So was that something that the Union Pacific issued for its workers that were working in the dining car, or? Correct.
It's how they standardize recipes across the system, so that if you ordered a Salisbury steak in Chicago, you got the same recipe there as you got in LA.
Okay.
So we just reproduced that. That took me, again, I think I did that in December. It's being released here at the show.
Wow.
So so it's.
Have you tried any of the recipes?
We have. There's some really weird ones in there. There's also really good ones in there.
It's interesting, when you look on Facebook at different Facebook groups for different railroads, and they'll post a picture of the menu in the dining car.
Yeah.
Right. And number one, the prices are insanely cheap.
Oh, yeah.
But when you see some of the things that they actually served, it's like, ew, like you don't even recognize, like, what is this?
Lunch tongue.
Right.
Sliced cow tongue.
Right.
Served cold on a piece of bread.
Right.
Maybe with some cheese if you're lucky.
Right.
There's also, I did a book on the Pennsylvania Railroad's dining car as well. Same thing, reproduced their 1947 dining car manual for their chefs.
Okay.
And there's a fantastic coleslaw recipe in there. And we actually make that at home for our parties because nobody else eats any other coleslaw except for that one. Right. It's fantastic.
So that has become the new family recipe.
Yeah, yep.
That's great.
So there's some really cool stuff in there. The Southern Pacific had a really nice béarnaise sauce for a steak, and we've made that. So actually, that's I haven't announced that yet, but here you go. Here's a scoop.
That's the next
book.
Southern Pacific.
Next dining car book. I just scanned it this past week. 1944 wartime SP cookbook, which is really cool because it's got some ingredient substitutions in it because of wartime restrictions.
Because you couldn't get certain things with the rationing, and that's great. And the comment about standardizing, I had never really given that a thought. I just thought it's all right. It's whatever the cook whips up while the train's in motion. So that's great.
That was a lot of the way that people picked what railroad they traveled on back in the day. Because,
really?
If you get from New York to Chicago via the Pensy or the New York Central, and they were both about the same amount of time,
right?
You pick which one had better accommodations.
I like the food better on the Pensy.
Right. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So where can people find your books?
So at the show here, I'm selling my stuff through Operation Toy Train, which is a nonprofit.
And we'll get to that in just a minute.
And a couple of the dining car ones are through the Dining Car Society, also nonprofit. All the proceeds from those sales are going to them at the show here today.
Okay, and that website is?
DiningCarSociety.org
okay.
and OperationToyTrain.org.
Okay,
Yep.
but in your normal operation,
yeah.
does your publishing company have a website?
I do. It's GarbelyPublishing.com.
Okay, that's GARBELY Publishing.com.
Yep. And all of the books that are currently available are available for sale online. We ship anywhere in the United States, and we can get some stuff overseas if we need to.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned Operation Toy Train. Tell me about that.
So Operation Toy Train is a nonprofit organization. We're in our 15th year, and we run a Toys for Tots collection train. And that's actually, I usually would say in 2 states, but past year was 4, and this coming year is going to be 5. So we keep adding new runs every year on different short lines, tourist railroads, freight railroads, where we run either our equipment or borrowed equipment around, and we collect donations at different stops.
So you stop at a certain locale and you announce that you're going to be there,
Yep.
and people just show up and bring donated toys like
Correct.
they would, if they're dropping it in the barrel at the mall or whatever.
Yep, and we handle all the logistics to get them to the Marines, and they help them. In a lot of cases, we help them distribute them as well.
Okay.
But we handled in 2023. We're actually still working on finishing counting. We think we're going to top 40,000 toys.
40,000 toys.
Yep. We are the second largest campaign for the Toys for Tots Foundation in the country.
Who's the biggest?
There's a group out of Texas that works with Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, so.
But that's phenomenal. 40,000 toys.
Yep.
That's a great cause and a great way to combine, the passion for trains and railroading and having it really, be a great benefit to. Now, how many of the trains or the toys you collect, or any of it, people bring train sets or anything, or is it
Sometimes, we get Thomas Tank Engine stuff. We get whatever. We get everything from bicycles. I mean, we get somebody bring a couple of PlayStations a few years ago.
Oh wow!
We got all kinds of stuff. Down to your little stuffed animals or whatever else.
Yep. So there's a chance that by doing this, somewhere out there, you started a couple kids down the model railroading path.
Absolutely, and we really try, even at the events at the each of our stops, to let the kids see the trains, and we encourage kids to come. We have Santa come with us as well on the train, so they get to meet Santa, and they get to see the train, and they get to see meet and talk to our railroaders and the people that work with us at each stop. So we really try to foster the community as we're doing this.
That's great. And where do you put all the toys that you collect?
So that's actually part of the reason we started using a train, because we used to, before the train started 15 years ago, we used military vehicles, and we outgrew the military vehicles. So we started using boxcars.
Okay.
And we now have our own fleet of boxcars. In case you're wondering, a Reading XLL boxcar holds about 8,000 toys.
Okay, and that's a 60-foot boxcar.
Yeah, auto parts boxcar.
So 8,000 toys in a 60-foot boxcar.
So
you'd need about 5 of those to fit your 40,000 toys in that you collected.
Mm-hmm. And we actually have, we currently have 4 boxcars that are in toy service. So what we do is we actually empty the cars out between runs and ship. We have a couple of Estes Trucking and ABF Trucking that partner with us, and they move the things from the train to the Marines for us.
That's great.
And they also help do some of the distribution work as well.
Right.
So they go into the boxcars. We sometimes will hold on to them for a little bit, depending on the logistics of getting into the Marines.
Right.
I know we currently have about 4,000 toys that we're holding on to that came in either late this year or something like that. Typically we get into the Marines as quick as we can so they can get back out and distribute it to the kids in time for the holidays.
Right. So you're going to be in 5 states this coming Christmas.
Yep.
Okay, and people, if they want to find out more or where you're going to be, they can go to operationtoytrain.org.
Correct.
Do you accept donations or anything through that website?
Yep. You can take financial donations, and certainly we're also looking for donations of people, equipment, volunteer hours. If you're in, we're in Port Jervis, New York, is where most of our equipment is based. So if you're in the tri-state area and you want to come lend a hand, we're always looking for people to come help. Financial donations, material, tools, any of that kind of stuff would be super helpful. So.
Okay. And if you're interested in those recipes, you can go to the Dining Car Society's website at diningcarsociety.com. Mm-hmm. Well, Rudy, thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us. Great. Congratulations on your success with the publishing and the books.
Yeah.
And certainly, really great job with the Operation Toy Train. What a worthy cause and a worthy way to combine, the hobby passion with doing some real good out there. So appreciate your time and wish you the best of success.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, I'm here with Dana Koala from Walthers, the well-known name in the hobby. Dana, what's new here at Walthers here at the Amherst show that you're sharing with the hobby public?
Well, we have a lot here, and basically all the different aspects of the modeling world that we're happy to show. Right now, we're in front of the track table, and we're bringing out a lot of cool new pieces. We're now doing not only, and this is all newly designed Walthers track. Not only Code 83, we're now doing Code 100 and Code 70 products.
Okay.
And we're coming out with new pieces in each. A couple items that we came out with that have been really popular, in fact, they're close to selling out, but they'll be restocked soon, are these pre-built single crossovers.
Okay.
Those are basically 2 number 6 turnouts put together, but you don't have to do any of the trimming or wiring yourself. You just sort of put them in place.
What's the track center on these?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
This is sort of a basically it's the standard.
Okay, like 2 inches, 2 1/4, something like that.
Yeah, about 2 1/4.
Okay. And I see these are DCC friendly.
They are DCC friendly. So just like the turnouts, the frogs are isolated, jumpers are already in place. You can easily power the frogs if you want to with these soldering lugs here.
Right.
And all the turnouts have sprung points. So right out of the box, they can operate manually.
So you can do them manually just with a flick of the finger, or if you want to put a ground throw on it, whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. Or you can hook it up to one of our switch machines or someone else's switch machine as well.
Okay. So tell me about your switch machines.
The switch machines, these have been out for a while now. Mm-hmm. They come in both a vertical sort of mount, or if you need to save space underneath the layout, you can mount them horizontally.
Okay.
They're designed to be plug and play, so no soldering unless you really want to. But we have a full line of plugs. We have a distribution board so that you can have several of these running off a single power supply, which is also plug and play.
Okay.
We have different buttons, LED indicators, so it makes it really easy to set up your own control panel. But again, these are servos, so they're not always on. Mm-hmm. So again, it's not taking as much power.
Right.
They're DCC enabled, so you can throw them with a DCC throttle, or if you want, there are also inputs and outputs, and you can connect these to a full-blown decoder if you would like.
So you could connect these into JMRI through the output pins and everything.
Exactly.
So if somebody's doing a CTC panel or something like that, you can do that as well.
Or, like I said, if you just want basic operation, it's really easy to install.
Yeah, push the button on the fascia and off you go.
You're done. Yep.
Okay. And I see you've got, in addition to the crossovers, you've got a whole host of turnouts here.
A lot, yes. Again, in Code 70, we have number 4s, number 6s. Code 83, we have 4, 5, 6, 8, 10s. Hundreds, we have 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
And we also have number 3 and number 4 wide turnouts as well.
Okay.
So a lot of different options, as well as 3 different options for doing curves or curve turnouts in Code 83.
Those always seem to be the ones that are hardest to find or come in the fewest quantities. So it's nice to see that they're becoming more available, and you've got 3 sizes here too. So
yeah, and they're great. They're great space savers when you're designing a layout. Mm-hmm. So we're happy to come out with more of those and more options.
Great. So a lot of track here, Code 83, and it's all certainly compatible with other manufacturers and everything, as long as the rail heights.
As long as the rail heights, you can combine whatever you want, as long as that works out for your plan.
Okay, great. What else about what do you have if we walk around the booth here in terms of structures and rolling stock? And
we have some new vehicles out. A couple in particular we're really excited about. We have some LLVs. These are all pre-production samples, so they don't have the mirrors on them or anything.
Okay.
But these were, I think they're just retiring them now, but for years these were very common in the U.S. and Canada.
Yep.
Made by Grumman, the long life vehicles. Couple different Canada Post schemes and 3 different U.S. mail schemes. And these are, in front of them are the Morgan Olson delivery vans.
Okay.
Again, very common as delivery vans, and we're also excited to do a food truck version,
Right.
which you see all over the place now.
Yep.
So those were a lot
We've
of fun.
got a donut truck, a pizza truck, and a taco truck. So
yeah.
that's great for the for the modern era modeler, and certainly the LLVs, in the postal service scheme.
Yeah.
I remember seeing those all the time when I was a kid. So
Yeah. So we're happy to expand those little details that you can use on your layout.
Yep.
Things like different communication antennas, things you can, really just super detail your buildings.
Right. Right. Yeah. The cell phone array and things like that. Yeah. This is great.
Yeah. We're continuing to build on. We bought Chooch a few years ago, so continuing to come out with more of their scenery products.
Okay.
We have some of their molds and things like that. Also some loads.
Great.
So again, just every aspect.
Just building on the details,
Right.
everything, and some new structures here as well.
Yes, some brand new structures we're excited to show. This is our new freight house. It's based on I think was a Southern branch line, but it's a cool mid-century sort of structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's very impressive. It could be a centerpiece of a layout scene.
Yeah, that's about 1.5 feet long.
It is.
That's one thing I've always liked about the Cornerstone series, as I've been in the hobby, is,
Sure.
you've come out with industries that have enough heft to them that they look like they would be a plausible rail customer.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the things I like as well is you don't necessarily have to follow our instructions. There's a lot of really good kit bashing fodder here.
Yep.
And like some of the bigger structures, I like them as, you basically can make your own low relief buildings, do all sorts of stuff.
Right, they convert very easily into flats and things like that.
Yeah.
I see you've got a new gas station here.
New gas station. We're doing both a vintage and a modern style. The vintage style is back when gas stations used to actually work on cars.
Mm-hmm.
So we have service bays. The new modern version, that's replaced with like a convenience store sort of thing like you would see. This is kind of cool as well. This is a first for us. We're doing it's a wood kit, but it's of a house under construction.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually see the structural timber and
Right, you can see the joists and the rafters.
Yeah, and this has been doing quite well. So we're hoping to do a little bit more with that.
Well, yeah, I know you've had a few wood kits over the years. I know some of the. I have a farm scene on my layout, and some of the farm buildings.
Oh, cool.
Were laser cut.
Yep.
So yeah, well, it's nice that you're also having different materials. The different people can, and that it's a little bit of a smaller size house, so it's not necessarily as intimidating for somebody who maybe isn't as familiar working with wood as they are with styrene or something like that. So it's a good way to ease in.
Exactly.
So what about rolling stock and locomotives?
Oh, we have a bunch more too. This is a lot in mainline. These are some of our recent entries, our auto parts boxcars, some new schemes, some great auto railroads here, the C&O, B&O, and the DT&I. These modern reefers are really cool. You see these all over the place,
Yep.
these 72-footers. Again, some really nice detail.
I see the refrigeration unit on the end here.
And those are separate pieces. And that's one of the good things, one of the cool things about mainline as well is it's a really good value.
Mm-hmm. Reasonable price point,
with
but
all the
still a high
detail
level
you
of
got.
detail. And great.
Some new Jeeps, and one of our newer entries too is this 3-unit NSC intermodal well car. This is new tooling, so we're happy to bring that out. And for anyone who models like the 60s or 70s, we have these different open auto racks.
Yep.
Both tri-level, bi-level, and then the shielded versions
with
as well,
or without the
which
shields,
were really
right.
kind of cool. They were like an intermediary between the open and the closed auto racks you see now.
Right. So depending on your era, you can have a combination of these or go all one way or the other. Now, an interesting thing that I did not know is that that the TTX, owned the cars, but the railroads owned the
railroads.
racks.
That's exactly how it worked. Yeah, they leased the flat cars, but yeah, they had to actually purchase the racks, and that's why
you see the different heralds on the racks
and
themselves.
Yep.
And different styles and all of that.
Exactly.
So
we've been happy to see that.
So let me ask you one question, kind of unrelated to the product line. In your view, how's the hobby doing? Is it growing?
Oh, I think so. I mean, what the big difference that I've seen is it seems like interest has sort of shifted in era a lot. Like I see a lot of where when I first got into it, everybody modeled the 50s. Mm-hmm. I see a lot more modelers who are like around my age or even a little younger who are modeling things like the 60s, 70s, or even the modern era. Like, I see teenagers, college-age guys, they're modeling what they see out there now.
Right.
And I see that growing, quite a bit.
So probably it may be a fair assumption that in the next 15 to 20 years, those of us that model the transition era are going to be looked at like the people now that model the 1800s or
that's
the turn
like
of the
I remember
century.
looking at old issues of MR from like the 30s and 40s, and guys were modeling like the 1800s.
Right.
So I think it's maybe not that extreme, but it's
it's just
what happens.
It's what happens when time passes.
And so I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
Well, great to hear. And certainly, Walthers is doing its part with coming out with a whole products that tie to a bunch of different eras and can be used by different modelers regardless of their interests. So Walthers.com is the website.
Walthers.com is the website. We have some new proto cars too if you want to see them.
Please let's.
Yeah. On the other side.
We're walking around the booth here. It's very busy.
It is very busy. We'll see if we can get in. But we have some new E-units, including to go with all of our UP Heritage equipment. Mm-hmm. We have a modernized E9.
Okay.
This is a version of the E9 that the UP currently uses to run its excursion train, so it has ditch lights.
Right,
and
it's
a prototypical lighting
modern
package.
era compatible with all the...
And a bunch of new E8s and E9s.
Okay.
In various paint schemes.
We've got B&O, we've got Southern Green, we've got Pensy. In both the single stripe and the 5-stripe version.
And there's a green one too. I just didn't have room.
And those even have the train phone antenna that's so common among Pensy locos.
And then we're doing another run of the FP7s. And these are kind of interesting locomotives because they were dual service. Mm-hmm. They're used in passenger, used in freight. Again, in Southern Pacific, CP Rail, Chessie, and Pennsy. And this we have here, and it's been popular out east, is we have our merchandise service freight set, which is 12 all new X29B box cars. And this is a variant that I don't think it's been done before, but at least not in ready to run plastic. So we were happy to finally get these out. And the set's cool because it includes 12 of these box cars and a caboose. 12
box cars and a cabin, and that retails for $549.98.
Yeah. So you have like a merchant, you have a fast freight train right out of the box. Some new runs.
And this is the proto line, so this is all the top of the line detail, separate grabs, separate ladders, etched roof walk, all of that good stuff.
Right.
So
and these cars these are pre-production models. We're especially happy to show, which is this Greenbrier 100-ton flat car. It's a Department of Defense car, so it commonly carried like military vehicles, as well as special containers. But it's like loaded with all sorts of detail. This is one that our designer really took to the nth degree.
Right.
And we've had a lot of military guys asking for this car.
Yep.
So we're really happy to finally get that out.
Again, the fusion of different types of modeling, whether it's the vehicle guys or the military
guys. Exactly, and especially now with 3D printing, there are various people, they make their own 3D prints of military vehicles, so they were really looking for this car.
And then they're bringing in all the weathering materials that the military guys use and all of that.
Yeah,
so
it's really good crossover.
It's interesting to see how it all kind of comes to a convergence point.
It is. And then, talking about the shift of eras too, again, especially here on the East Coast, the Amtrak stuff is really popular.
Yep.
So we have a new dinette car. And then, we have some more locomotives coming out in proto, some Jeep 35s. These are just coming out now. The SD9s will be here in the probably in the spring, probably around the May time frame. And then some new SW switchers. So again, it's proto, so they're going to have road name specific detail,
right?
Some road name specific lighting. They're all available either as straight up DC or with Loxon 5 decoders.
Loxon 5, okay.
Yep.
All right, great. Well, this is wonderful, Dana. Thank you so much for the tour of the booth and sharing all of the great products that Walthers has coming out. And for those of you that are looking or interested in any of this, you can go to walthers.com to see the announcements and place your orders. So, Dana, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks. Okay, I'm here with Ryan Toman from White Rose Hobbies. I believe White Rose Hobbies is in York, Pennsylvania?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and you guys are a full-service hobby shop?
Yep, full line, model trains, what we started with. We branched out in 2017 to a bigger building, and we now have RC cars, model kits, airplanes, all that kind of stuff like that. We have outdoor RC tracks. We have a just big terrain display inside the store, HO and O gauge layouts. So we got a lot going on.
Wow. Okay. I have to full disclosure. I have, even though I live not that far away, I have never made it out. But you guys are definitely on my list. So
you're on my list as well.
Well, you're always welcome.
Yeah.
So, so have you always had the shop, or what got you into? Have you always been a modeler? Or?
Yes. So it's kind of timing wise. When I say this, you'll know what I mean by that. So all my life, with my grandfather, got me into model trains. Lost touch a little bit with the hobby when I went to college, stuff like that. Graduated college with computer science degrees and ended up getting, IT jobs and all that. And then I found model train stuff, which is hot topic right now, as everyone knows.
Yes.
And since I was in the IT world, they had an opening for, I think it was just a data entry position or something.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up working there for a couple years and helping develop the website that became the Juggernaut,
Right.
And, it got huge, and I was like, man, this is crazy, So I wanted to make a lot of changes, and, they were still kind of old school, with Ted and Paul. And one day in the conversation, Ted told me straight up, he said, if you don't like it, you can start your own. And then in there, I talked to my father-in-law, who's right there, stepfather, I mean.
Okay. And so you did.
And we did. We got it together. We got a small loan, and we just kicked it off. And that was in 2008.
2008. So you've been in business for about 15-plus years.
Yep. Started in my stepbrother's bedroom, and then we branched out to a store.
That's fantastic.
In York. Our store in York, our first store, was about the size of this booth.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So, and then in 2017, I think that's the year. Anyway, right around that year, we moved into the current location where we are today, in West York on Route 30, 4401 West Market Street there.
Okay.
And that came about. There's a lot to jump in, a lot to fit in here, but
right. We got time.
I worked for Norfolk Southern in between all of this happening.
Oh, okay, so you're a professional railroader as well.
So for 8 years, I worked for Norfolk Southern. Started, conductor, remote control operator. Then I was in LET when locomotive trainee when I left them.
Okay.
And I left in it's all good. It's been about 2 years now.
So you're really fully immersed between being a modeler yourself, having the business, and then being a professional railroader.
Yeah.
You've kind of really made a big bet on this for yourself.
And my business partner up here, Tom, he's also former railroader with NS. That's how we got hooked up with our new location. His family owned the property that we're at now. So now we're both doing this full time instead of running with NS. So
well, it looks like it looks very successful. The booth is very busy here. But I know there's another big announcement that came out recently. Why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah. So Bethlehem Car Works, we have acquired the company, and a quick synopsis of how that came to be. Last spring in 2023, I contacted John Green about carrying some of the products in the hobby shop, and he had said he does some of that, but not much anymore with the dealers. I think he only had a handful or less at the time. And I put in a pretty decent size order. He was really surprised, and he was on the way to an RPM meet. I think the one near Pittsburgh. I forget exactly what it's called. You probably know.
Oh, the RPM East. Yes.
So he stopped in the shop to drop off our order. And that was really the first time. I mean, I've been to shows and things, but that was really the first time I ever talked to him or met him on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talking about things and mentioned, like, my father is into 3D printing and stuff like that, and he was starting to go in sort of that direction with some things. And he knew, like, my technology background, and he was just intrigued by all that. And a few months later, he called me, and I didn't know this at the time when I met him, that he was trying to sell the business.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me and talked to me about it and asked if I would be interested. He thought I'd be a good fit for it all based on our conversations and everything. And then I said, yeah, let's do it. He said, okay, well, let's set up some time to come up and see me. And that was in the midsummer, and unfortunately we lost him in the end of August.
Right.
It was very end of August. So we unfortunately never got to fully follow through with it. But we did still end up being able to acquire everything. And now I'm kind of putting the pieces together because I didn't spend any time with him on...
Right.
There's a lot of moving parts to this. I mean, he had 30 years to get to this point. So I'm trying to cover 30 years of...
You're drinking from the fire hose right now.
Yes. It's been overwhelming, but at the same time, it's been one of the greatest things I've ever done. In the short time I've been involved with it, just meeting all the people, all his friends that helped him with the projects,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a great community. There's just everyone's been super helpful. Hey, if you need this, it's just been overwhelming, to say the least.
Well, John certainly had, and Bethlehem Car Works certainly had a very good reputation in the hobby community, particularly in the area of passenger cars, whether ready to run or in kit form for all different railroads. I know, the Reading was obviously near and dear to his heart, but he did things for different railroads all up and down, primarily the East Coast. So, I mean, I know you're still very much, kind of figuring out the direction that you want to take everything, but what are some of your early thoughts or your vision for what you'd like to do with Bethlehem Car Works now and for the future, if you even figured that out yet?
Well, it's changing by the minute, to be honest, but...
Okay.
So there's already several projects in the works that he started, and we're going to try to finish those up, but there's the amount of research material and projects that he didn't even start yet is amazing. I mean, I've got manila folders of projects that he was going to do or wanted to do or might do, and there's no end to what's already possibly in the works. I mean, it's amazing the amount of stuff that he was working on. And
so there's enough material there in what you acquired that you basically have a product pipeline that you just need to figure out and get rolling.
Yeah, so, and there's actually one that we just announced here at the show, the modernized Erie coach, specifically based on the, there's 4 specific numbers that eventually went to the D&H. They fit other models as other numbers as well, but those specifically was a project that he started working on, and we got it's partnered with someone else that started working on the project with the Accurate Custom Finishings. So
okay.
We're splitting it with them. They're marketing the D&H version of the kit. We're marketing the EL.
The Erie and the EL.
Yeah.
Okay.
So John had a lot of good working relationships with a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the kits are collaborations. But he did the distributing and supplied a lot of the research material, and it's quite the operation. I'm learning as I go, but it's truly a worldwide endeavor. I mean, I'm dealing with people in countries that I would have never imagined.
Would have a model railroading base and everything.
So, I mean, we have, CAD designers, we have production. I mean, some of the brass etch stuff, I found, I kind of was putting it together, but I'm like, there's like UK addresses on a lot of this stuff.
Right.
And I found that in the States, there was just not a brass etching company that would do a small enough run that he needed. So he was dealing with UK. I mean, it's amazing.
It's truly is an international hobby. I know I purchased some signals recently from a gentleman who did 3D design and printing, and he's in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Doing American prototypes.
Yeah.
So it is really, it really is a big tent of a hobby, and you never know where people are. So Ryan, where can people find out more information about Bethlehem Car Works or about White Rose Hobbies? Do you have websites?
Yeah, so both of those in the name, both BethlehemCarWorks.com and WhiteRoseHobbies.com.
Okay.
BethlehemCarWorks.com is going to get a fresh overhaul. Just a few little hiccups in the transition. Just getting access to controlling the domain and stuff specifically like that.
Right.
We're working with the estate to getting that all worked out. But it's going to get redone. It's going to look awesome.
Okay.
WhiteRoseHobbies.com is still going to be primarily where if you want to buy anything, will be on there. The Bethlehem Car Works site is just going to be informational about the projects, more of the history aspect of some of the cars and stuff like that.
And then distributed through White Rose Hobbies.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
We're also going to continue the relationships with the historical societies.
Okay.
He produced a lot of kits specifically that were sold only through them.
Right.
So to support them, we're still going to do do that.
Right. I remember he did a number of things with the Reading Company Technical and Historical Society when I was involved there, and I believe there was a tower kit, some station kits, and things like that. So that's a great. Number one, it's a great market for you because people, a lot of people come to historical societies because of modeling. In addition to their interest in prototype, but certainly gives you an avenue for, and as well as getting information from them to bring products to life. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, it's definitely an integral relationship with this business. And as you know, the people in those societies are very passionate and willing to give information, and it's essential. I mean, I don't think this would be possible without them. So
Right. They want it to be right, and they are very passionate about down to the most minute detail, right? Yeah. So, well, great. Well, Ryan, glad to hear that you're following your passion and are being quite successful at it, and certainly, happy to hear that through a series of fortunate events that you're able to keep a hobby icon like Bethlehem Car Works going and moving into the future. So again, for those of you listening, that's WhiteRoseHobbies.com and BethlehemCarWorks.com. Ryan, thanks so much for your time. We wish you nothing but success.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Okay, I'm here with Matt Herman from 3D Central. This is a new name in the hobby. Matt, when did you go live? And tell me a little bit about what you're doing with 3D Central here.
Well, in August, we kind of came up with the idea to do some 3D printing. We were just going to do some stuff for ourselves and maybe start a little business making some different cars and just printing on our own. And a friend of ours in Australia, Jason Miller, is doing a lot of Reading modeling, a lot of 3D printing and designing. But being in Australia, it's a little hard to get stuff here to the States in one piece, and all the shipping.
And shipping is
insane. Exactly.
Yep.
So he asked me if we could print for him, and a light bulb went off, and I thought, I'm not that great of a designer, but I can print and I can market and I can ship and deal with customers. I have a little experience with all of that.
Right.
So when Jason said this to me, I thought, what? There's a lot of basement designers out there that really don't know how to create a business, figure out how to get sourced parts for etchings. I've been doing this for 30 years, trying to figure this out. So I have sources everywhere. I can figure out how to help them get etchings. I can figure out how to help get decals. I can do the packaging for them. So then the designers who created something that somebody wanted, but then didn't want to actually start a business.
Right.
They have a way to continue to design, putting out new and new things, and I get to help them bring these kits to the market.
Right.
So that's basically what we are, as a print shop that helps under an umbrella of 3D designers all over the world.
So almost like an artist collaborative of sorts,
Sure.
where it gives them the ability to design and do all the creative stuff, and you handle all of the production and the distribution and all of the business stuff that they might not have access to. And certainly, we've seen 3D printing take off like a rocket.
It sure has.
Over the past couple of years. The price to entry for the average hobbyist has gone way down in terms of some of the printers. But at the same time, it's still a big learning curve from a design standpoint and how to get your prints to turn out right. So you've kind of got all that already. And you've been through that curve already.
A lot of these guys that we're working with, this is not their full-time gig. So they've got a day job, they're coming home, and 3D printing's been a little bit of a hobby to add on top of their modeling hobby.
Right.
So to then take even more time away from that to do packaging and shipping and all that is difficult.
Right.
Plus, as you said, as this is my day job, I have spent hours and hours and hours researching, and error after error and fail print after fail print till I got everything narrowed down and figured out. Right. So it works out really well. You had mentioned before about kind of what this is. Somebody told me they put it together that it was like a record label. So we have all these different artists under one umbrella that can do all this. It's very similar to the structure. So
yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. So tell me, I see things here in some different scales. Can you give me a quick overview of some of the products that you have available now, and maybe what may be coming down the pike in the future?
Sure. Well, as of right now, we're working with almost 25 different designers. And we also have a product line of our own. So we've made, just recently, kind of in our reveal, we did the Evans side slider with 2 different versions. We're doing those at the moment in HO scale. We're also going to be doing them in S for sure. And we're looking at the possibility of O. We can print O scale cars without too much trouble. We're using some big Jupiter machines. So we'll be doing pretty much all scales on different items. We just today announced a brand new General American boxcar for the Boston, or for the Bangor and Aroostook. There's 4 different versions of that car. They took these double doors and they converted them to single doors later in life. So the great thing about what we're doing is there's no tooling. So off the base design, we can have some variations very quickly without any additional tooling expenses.
So it's really just a matter of some mouse clicks and swapping out.
Essentially, a little bit of
parts.
time.
Right, a little bit of time, but you don't really have, other than buying the printers and buying the resin. Obviously, you don't have the same kind of capital investment that you do to cut tooling. And once you cut that, that's what you have.
That's right.
So
these General American cars are the double door cars for sure. They may come out later on by a major manufacturer, so we found that out after we had everything done. So and they're friends, so we're not going to push the double doors out real hard.
Right.
We're going to limit the numbers on those, so they're going to be kind of exclusive because we aren't out here stepping on toes. The idea of what we want to do is the stuff that the major manufacturers likely will not do because there's not the quantity for it. So we'll do some more obscure things. So, and there's a lot more coming there. We've got a list. We can do a car about every month just under my brand alone.
Wow.
But then with these other 25 other brands, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming. You
can bring your time from concept to production can really be compressed.
Very quickly.
If you've got 25 people doing the design work and then you're doing, that's really, and the kind of the way I look at this is it's almost like, it's like the craft beer of the hobby. It's smaller batch, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
There's some things that might have fairly wide interest. Like I know you've got the Reading HTZ hoppers, which I myself am very interested. But and also some of these cars may not have been seen widely on. You may see one in a train here and there, so they are more limited in scope somewhat, which is great because otherwise before that you had to kit bash or had to live without it.
So we've got a new company we work with, Plate C. They've got a brand new P&L 951 heavy-duty flat car
Okay.
We've got Bridgeline Design just released a bunch of D&H wooden cabooses in 6 different versions so far. And to what we were just talking about, there's end cupolas, center cupolas, and then they were rebuilt with plywood sides. So that's just a small change in the drawing.
Okay, yeah, I
so
see
we bring that out right away.
I see the different versions here on the box labeling. Great.
Yep, non-cupola versions as well. We talked about my Australian friend Jason Miller with Scale 3D Productions, a lot of Redding stuff.
Yep.
So we're talking about Redding dual control stand cabs for SD45s and other engines.
Yep.
He's working on the HTZ, the XLL, 60-foot boxcar. All of this at the moment is HO scale. Icebreaker cars, flat cars with auto loads and stuff like that. We've got Caslow Shops as a partner of ours, so the Caslow name's been around there for a little while out of Canada.
I've heard that name. Now they're more Canadian.
Yeah, they do some American stuff as well, but their basis is Canadian prototypes.
Okay.
So we are printing and shipping all of the Caslow items in the United States, and for my brand, for the 3D Central brand cars, Caslow is printing and shipping in Canada. So if you're looking for a side slider or the new Banger and Aroostook cars that we're doing, you'll be able to order those straight from John and not have to worry about shipping.
Cross arrangement there. That's great.
So we have some O-scale that we're doing from Bayview Junction. We got an SW1200 RS in O. Sarah Griesenbach, who's been doing some awesome design work in Austria, but she models North America in the 1950s. So
in Austria.
In Austria.
Wow.
So she is a fantastic modeler and awesome 3D designer as well. So we're going to help her bring those kits to the market here in the States. So she's got a UP tank car that's coming pretty shortly. She's got some roofs to upgrade intermountain box cars and some stuff like that. Really, really good designer. Ben scale models. This is S scale. We got a 4750 covered hopper. We have a Pullman Standard 3000 covered hopper coming in S scale. We're going to be doing, as I mentioned, the side slider in S and a few other things in S as well. N scale stuff from IHP. Imperial Hobby Productions. We're doing some stuff for him.
I see some streetcar models here,
Yep,
it looks like.
That's some of his. Carroll Avenue Shops, we got some Wabash Streamline cabooses. What am I missing here? I'm sure there's more. As I said, there's 25 different
Right, you've got 25 different people bringing
more
concepts
and more stuff
out.
That's right.
So let me ask you a question. You mentioned Sarah in Austria, who's a talented 3D designer. You said, have you seen, with the advent of 3D printing and design, do you feel that has brought, like, which way do you think it's going? In other words, do you feel like the existence of the 3D design is bringing people into the model railroading hobby, or do you feel like it's more model railroaders are just picking up on this technology now?
Well, 3D printing is a hobby in and of itself. So often what's happening is, the model railroaders and other industries, model cars, stuff like that. Actually, that's something else that we're doing a lot of is some model cars coming
vehicles,
up. Vehicles.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of those coming in multiple scales. But at the moment, I think I see more model railroaders getting into 3D printing because they can add to their repertoire of their own layouts with it. But certainly there's some cross-contamination, if you will, in both directions.
So one of the things that I've heard, and I've dabbled in 3D printing just a tiny bit. One of the things I've heard and seen is that the prints take a long time.
They can.
So for example, for one of the box cars here, how long would it take to print a car like that?
Well, it's all going to depend on the machine that you're using. So I've got I use a lot of Elegoo printers.
Okay.
So all resin printers, because of the detail that you can get on them. So my Saturn IIs, that 50-foot box car, and the angles that I use, that's a 22-hour print.
22 hours.
And I can get 3 on that machine in 22 hours. My Saturn IIIs and the angles that I use for that, I can get 5 because of the angle, and that only takes me 12 hours. So in that same 24-hour time period, I can get 3 off of one printer and 10 off of another. So
it's a combination of the printer itself and then the specs that you set up when you actually do the print impacts the time.
And the only way to increase that production is to buy more printers.
And how many do you have running now?
Currently, we're at 15. Within the next month, we'll be up to 25 as we're just expanding exponentially here. So
basically somebody somebody's job to just babysit all these printers, make sure that they're all
pretty much. The good thing about them is once you do get them set up, then basically I set things up to start kind of in the morning, and then depending on the print time, I'll go through and cycle them throughout the day as I'm putting supports on other stuff and dealing with customers and shipping. And we've actually just started hiring some help, so we got a couple employees now.
Okay.
So we're growing pretty quickly.
Great. No, this is fantastic. Again, that's a lot. That's the challenge of prototype modeling is getting things right for your chosen prototype.
Sure.
You're definitely adding a valuable service here to the hobby. Where can people go if they want to find out more, or if they want to actually place an order?
Directly to our website is 3dcentraltrains.com.
3dcentraltrains.com.
Yep.
And do you have a Facebook page
I do.
as well?
If you just type in 3D Central, you'll see our logo looks like a 3D printer, and it's orange. So,
okay.
So you should be able to find it pretty easily.
Okay. All right. Well, Matt, thank you so much. This is great, and I think this is really kind of the ultimate application of what the 3D printing technology is bringing to the hobby. So it's really great to see how you've embraced this, and just here at the booth, the wide variety of stuff you've got you've got here that's eventually going to make its way to the marketplace. So kudos to you and your team, and thank you for spending some time with us, and we wish you all the best.
I appreciate it, Tom. Thanks.
You.
Have a great day.
Yep.
Okay, Kelly, are you here for this one?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
You're
sorry for not being on time again.
Again, yeah, that's the key word there is again.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's becoming a habit with you.
I know.
Yeah.
We're going to have to send you over for disciplinary action.
Yeah, definitely.
The next fans of the podcast, fans of the Modeler's Life podcast, I talk about how I was annoyed at Scooter, and I was going to throw out, what do they call them? The things that the cops throw out, spike strips.
Spike strips.
Yeah, as he was bombing down Interstate 95. But I didn't. But I was thinking about it. So that's what I'm going to do with you, Kelly. I'm going to hunt you down like a mad dog and throw out spike strips because you keep being late.
Oh,
you can send them down to a AAA podcast.
Yeah, I'd send you down to a AAA podcast, and
you'll be designated for assignment.
Yeah, and there's plenty of those.
Those spike strips are going to hurt my feet if I step on it.
There's plenty of minor league podcasts. Yeah. However, we do not consider one of our favorites as Nick Ozarek, the Roundhouse podcast. That's a good one. Our buddy Ken Patterson. We love Ken. We love the dude, Ken Patterson. Oh yeah. And then I loved how in Springfield Report Part 2, I interviewed the Bachman guy. And he actually came over to us, and he came to the booth on Sunday afternoon and said, "Can I be interviewed?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" And he says, "Well, I work at Bachman. I'm the marketing social media guy for Bachman." And I
think I talked to him too.
Did you? I haven't got to Springfield Reports Part 4. So
wait, let me.
Oh, he's got. Oh, Queso's got
notes. Queso has notes.
Yeah,
he's got a clipboard.
Yeah.
I have cards.
We have cards. Wow.
Ooh.
At least I thought I did. Hang on.
And I wonder if he's going to.
Was it Matt Stern?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I interviewed him too.
Well, you interviewed him before I did.
Yeah, I interviewed him. I guess it was the first day.
Wow.
Well, I guess he wanted to be interviewed again or something.
Well, yeah, maybe
he wasn't happy. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe mine was so bad he wanted a do-over.
Yeah. Where is it?
Well, that'll be a good comparison.
Well, no, I don't see his name anywhere. The first one was Ray Persing, Kale Leifert, John France, McQuarrie, and Dormont. And then part 2 was Vondrack, Gordy, RIT, Ford, Kempema, Dawson, Bachman. Yeah, Bachman. Yeah, it was Matt Stern.
So it'll be a good comparison.
Yeah,
see
exactly.
how well he's doing as an interviewer.
Well, he's already. Yeah, I've listened to these, and they're like too good is almost they're almost too well. Were you, Kelly? I don't remember because you always show up late. Were you there at the part where we decided he was going to interview Matt Herman for a long form interview?
Yes, I was there for that. I came in before it.
Okay, well, I can't remember because
I apologize.
The only reason I can't get that mad at you is because that's basically the way I spent my life in high school.
What, being late?
Yeah.
No, you were always on time, weren't you? But you kept parking in the faculty parking lot.
Well, that was the only way I could be on time is if I parked in the faculty parking lot. I said to the principal,
got a load of plywood.
Yeah, I said to the principal one day, you can have one of two things. I can either be on time or I can park in the student parking lot. You got to choose.
It's great. That's great.
My poor dad, who was a World War II run by the rules, do what you're supposed to do. He did not get me at all. But my mother was a free spirit, so she thought it was great. Well, Lionel, if you're going to be late, you should probably park in the faculty parking lot. Okay, Mom. Okay. So, yeah. So anyways, which one was your favorite, Kelly?
I think Matt Herman was the favorite.
That was a great interview, actually. Yeah. Matt Herman he's a fireball.
Oh, yeah. And I saw his video when they were somebody was interviewing. I can't remember who it was, a video. And it was pretty interesting because, after he left Lokesound, you didn't hear anything about him. And I was like always wondering where he was. And I saw that interview and I go, wow. And then hearing this is even better.
Well, and this 3D Central thing, I mean, man, what a home run idea this is. Oh, my God. And he's doing
get some free samples.
He's doing such a good job at it.
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing.
Did you order your HTZs yet, Bruce?
Oh, I want to so bad. I want to order at least two 12 sets.
I ordered a 6-pack.
Oh, boy.
So I'm waiting for them anxiously to arrive along with my my U30Cs.
Yeah. Wow.
So what's the URL for these guys? Do we know?
3D Central. I think that's why you have to type in.
No. Well, maybe. But I can't find it. I'm
3D. It's 3dcentraltrains.com.
Ah, there we go. There it is. Okay, I found it. Yeah, man, talk about well organized and everything. It's nothing.
Well, and it's a neat concept. I mean, the way that I look at it, it's almost like an artist cooperative, right? Where he focuses on the production, and he's collaborating with other people that are doing the design work. So a friend of mine, a guy named Jason Miller from Australia, has been doing a number of 3D designs for some Reading models, a couple Reading flat cars, and then these HTZ hoppers, which are 90-ton ore hoppers that nobody else makes a model of. They're not available anywhere else. So he took it upon himself to, find drawings and everything, and he's done the 3D modeling, but he's in Australia, so it's a little hard to, there's barriers to reaching an American market. So that's where Matt and 3D Central comes in that they're doing the actual physical 3D printing and the model production and the shipping and all of that. And, they work with a number of people like Jason that are doing the designs and creating the models, and then 3D Central prints them and offers them up. So it's a great way that if you have the drawing skills, and the modeling skills, but you don't have the means to, produce in quantity or something like that, you can work with them to make it happen.
You know what we got to get him involved in, because the next Patreon episode, which would be the one after the show after this particular show, which is being released sometime of March, on the week of March. I've become a little bit messy right at this exact moment. I think that this was released on March. I think today is Monday, March the 11th. I feel confident. But there's a new segment that people will hear about on the Fans number 73. And maybe we can solve a lot of our problems by getting 3D Central involved, because the new segment we have coming up, that Tom, unfortunately you weren't there for the release of it, but there's going to be a new segment called "Hey Dude, Where's My Shirt?" This is he's partnered with like Tangent Scale Trains and Moloko. I wonder, hey Bruce, if he's partnered with Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
I don't think he is, though. So how does he, what would it be? Man, somebody has to interview this. Somebody has to do a long form interview with Matt Herman. That is an absolute must. And he's partnered with KD and Northwestern Scale Models, Carroll Avenue. This is a really good idea. If it's done well. Can you imagine if I tried to do it? What a mishmash that would be. And even this one where he's got this Delaware and Hudson wooden cupola, or this wooden home-built caboose from the Delaware and Hudson, it looks really cool as well. There's a lot of cool stuff on that site. So that was your favorite one, eh, Kelly?
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Actually, I was kind of interested in the Garbely Publishing. I thought that was pretty neat, too. That's another guy you could do a long-form interview with, only he'd have to talk slower. He talks so fast. I was like, I cannot hear. What is the name of this? What is the name of it?
He's another one with, it's one of the things that has become apparent as I've been doing these for the past couple of years now is that when you talk to people that are involved in the hobby like this, there's a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of passion. You don't necessarily have people, how can I, this is probably going to come out wrong, but sometimes when you interview people or you talk to people about their business, that's just it. It's a business, right? It's their job. And for these people, it is their job, but at the same time, they're clearly doing something that they love and something that they have a ton of interest and a ton of passion in, I think it clearly
well, look at Ron Kleiss, Mind Mount Models. He's you guys were talking about his first limited run kit. And I think he said it was like $275 or 200 and some odd bucks, 250, something like that. Mm-hmm. And there's a limited run of 150 and half of them are sold.
Yep.
I mean, talk about passionate. Ron started this thing from dust and he's got the thing going and it's becoming a real going concern for him. And it's hopefully becomes a full-time gig like Garbely Publishing or like 3D, like Matt Herman said he was hiring some people and getting a couple of employees and like, man, oh man, this hobby's growing like crazy.
Yep. Yeah, Ron, it has been so much fun to watch how Ron has grown Mind Mount and prospered and expanded the business over the years since, we knew him when he was just getting started with it. And, where he's at now with the number of different kits that he has and he's doing, that limited run kit that he did, is every bit as ornate and detailed as something you would find, from any one of the other manufacturers like Foss or South River Model Works or any of those guys. So, he's really, jumped in with both feet and I'm so happy, that he's, having so much success. I'm also, kind of jealous to be quite frank, but I am really happy for him. It's really great to see how well he's done.
But try to keep in mind, Queso, he hasn't been tapped as a guy that can do long form interviews or work his way around Springfield doing interviews. That nobody else,
right?
There's been nobody else tapped to do that job,
right? And he hasn't thrown, he hasn't had the responsibility of planning a huge,
exactly
4 days of peace, love, and little trains for 50 people, and having to orchestrate, leaving the leaving the founder of the organization behind on the way to dinner. And, this stuff is hard too.
It is, exactly. And this year, I think even more pressure is that you have to organize Jerry Burton's Cheese Ball Run.
Yep.
I mean, that's going to be huge. People are going to be talking about that for years. Now, Bruce, can we talk about something off the air, on the air?
Sure.
I'm just looking at this picture of his limited run crown transfer. This seems very fine scale miniature-ish.
It does. It's a beautiful looking model.
It really is. It's like something, and I love the fact that it's a limited run, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at this thinking to myself, kind of, in generalizations, I'm thinking to myself, wow, maybe I should buy one of these. Because it's kind of like there's only ever going to be 150 of them, and you don't want to miss out in case you ever feel like building it. So it's like one of those.
It's a beautiful looking kit, that's for sure.
It'd be a fine thing to put on the shelf. Although today I just spent $300 on a 3-wood, but it goes pretty good. I smacked it a couple of times and it goes pretty good.
There you go. Straight down the middle.
I don't know if any.
Straight-ish.
Straight down the other fairway.
No. In my heyday, I was a solid 8 handicap. Solid. I could play.
Wow.
And I won the B flight of our club championship several times, more than twice and less than 10. So I could play. I never had the length to be a scratch or get down there, but I could play. But anyways, it's been many years. I couldn't play for 7 or 8 years because I just lost all my strength. So I would say that 1 out of 3 is straight down the middle, and 2 out of 3 are that one's a little off. So yeah, it was pretty good. It had a nice thwack to it, this club. All right, that's it. We've killed another 17 minutes, and we only spoke of Rapido trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Once. That's it. Have we got anything else we got to cover, Queso?
Just keep an eye on the Tom Stock page for information about what's going to happen and how to get there, and more details will be coming out over the next couple of weeks.
And Martin Weaver, you were the first guest on Martin Weaver of Mustang, Oklahoma. You were the first guest on the newest segment of the AML network. Hey, dude, where's my shirt? And I think that's it. I think we got her covered. Oh, this is on the free channel. So, Bruce, we got to go through the whole rigmarole.
Yeah, we got to do the whole run, yes.
The whole thing. Kelly, could you give out our email address?
Yes, I can give you out the email. You can reach us through the wonders of email at modellerslife@gmail.com. That's modeler with 1 L like late, not 2 L's like Kelly.
Yeah, there you go.
Nicely done.
Yeah, there you go. And if you miss the email address, if you go to our website, amodellerslife.com, and scroll down just a little bit, you can click on the picture of the moderately agitated mailboy in a particularly agitated state. And also on that page, you'll find a link to our Patreon page. And if you think this podcasting is fun, every Monday, if you click on that, and just for a few cents a day, you can get twice as much podcasting a week by joining our Patreon family. And for a few more cents a day, even a few more cents a day, you can get to the next tier, and every year get a special dedicated to patrons only t-shirt. And you also get to enter the new game show that's sweeping the nation. When will I get my t-shirt? Or you might get an opportunity to be on the newest segment. Hey, dude, where's my shirt? I'm getting finally I've succumbed, and I'm getting Barb involved. She's going to help me do this. Let's see, what else do we got to talk about? Oh yeah. Hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted a t-shirt with a hot dog on it?
Oh yeah, I definitely want one of those. As long as it has mustard on it. I don't want ketchup on it.
There you go. Yeah, that could become a problem if we let Queso do many more interviews or stuff. We're going to run into some sort of a problem because he likes ketchup on his hot dogs.
Nothing wrong with ketchup on hot dogs.
So long as you're not over the age of 8.
Yeah, as long as you're a free thinker and not constricted.
You know what, Bruce? I'm Bruce Wilson. I think I'm gonna have to have my agent come up with a writer.
There you go. You're gonna have to have the big pump jar of ketchup there and just a little teeny tiny mini jar of mustard.
Just little packets.
Those packets.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Is there anything more annoying at the game than having those little packets, especially the relish?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Relish.
The relish packet, is that like not the stupidest
thing? 3 pieces of
I know. Are they not like the stupidest thing on the planet, the relish packet?
Like, why don't they trust you?
Yeah, exactly. Come on, let us have a real relish. What else? Oh, yeah. So if you want a T-shirt with a hot dog on it, if you go to Midwest Model Railroad and their URL is MidwestModelRR.com. It's Midwest Hobbies. Model Railroad Hobbies. What's it called?
MidwestModelRR.com.
Yeah, but what's the store called? Midwest
Model Railroad.
Midwest Model Railroad, yeah.
And they also have Midwest Hobbies in there, I think, too.
Yeah.
They've got games and stuff.
But anyways, if you go to their website, MidwestModelRR.com, and get on the navigation bar and scroll across to Other and click on the drop-down menu, you'll be in the AML shop, and boom, you are in a wonderland of AML merchandise, hats, hoodies, T-shirts, mugs, and in there you'll find a T-shirt with a hot dog on it. And that's where you go, Kelly. So get over there right away and get that T-shirt ordered.
Okay.
I think that's it, is it not, Bruce?
Check. Yes. Although we forgot to mention that if you're on the Midwest Model RR site, you can scroll down a bit past new and skilled arrivals. They got a whole bunch of stuff, and then there's another link there with the Modler's Life with somebody behind the desk.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We got that. There's that link too. Exactly. If you scroll down a bit farther, it is on the first page. Oh yeah. Now this is a Springfield report. So this is something that everybody loves every year, and it's like the Shamrock Shake at McDonald's. These are the Springfield reports are the only shows that end with the Queso Cowboy's favorite song.
That's another. You know what? That's another thing I'm going to have to put on the writer.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, we could have a negotiation problem. You know, I remember I read once there was some years ago in the 80s or something, somebody was trying to sign a goalie, and the guy says finally he wanted, and this is back in the 80s when, you know, if you got $200,000 a year on your NHL contract, you were in high cotton. And the guy was trying to sign this particular goalie, and the guy wanted X number of dollars, and finally the general manager says to him, you know, there are other goalies out there. You're not the only goalie. But there's no other Queso Cowboy, so that doesn't really work. No. All right. Are you ready, Queso?
I'm ready.
So remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
people walking the floors of Springfield with a portable mic in hand.
And the lights all went down in Massachusetts the day I left, standing on the road, trying to hitch a ride to San Francisco. Got to do the things I got to do, and the lights all went down in Massachusetts.
It's another Lincoln Homer.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. We chewed up almost an hour, 50 minutes. We chewed up in intros and outros. We had a little bit too much conversation, except everybody loves it.